Fall conferences are coming up, and for a lot of us, this is going to be the first time that we go to fall conferences or any conferences since COVID-19, which means there's a lot of nerves, especially with introverts. So I'm joined here by Courtney Ranstrom from Trailhead Planners, who is also super passionate about mental health, for some tips on how to approach conference season. So Courtney, if you haven't been to a conference in a while and you're nervous, what is your number one tip for approaching conference season?
The number one tip I have is plan ahead. Look at that agenda to figure out what sessions you want to go to, what sessions have CE for whatever designations you have, and select those first. Even if it's a session that doesn't have CE, if it's a session I want to go to, then I'm going to all of them. So number one is just plan and strategize what you want to do when you're there.
About networking. So many of us walk away from conferences and we say the best part was the people that were there. But a lot of us are also a little bit rusty on networking or might not be super comfortable. So do you have any tips, especially for the introverts out there, on how to approach networking?
So the way that I have approached networking is being active on Twitter, because I can be active and social on Twitter from the comfort of my own home in a pair of sweatpants at 8 o'clock at night. And even some of like the XY Tiny Network forums, NAPFA, that kind of thing. So I have a base to kind of work from when I go to the conference. And that helps me a ton because I'm not very good at introducing myself to new people. And when I'm sitting by myself, like eating lunch or something like that, I'm not likely to pick up my plate and say, oh, can I join this table over here? So having that base of Twitter friends and people that I've met online really helps me to then go meet people in person.
That's a really good point that you bring up, though. A lot of us, I think, feel the need to recharge at some point because it's a lot to be at conferences, from the breakfast all the way down to the happy hours. What is your strategy for taking breaks and maybe getting some me time, getting those moments to recharge without feeling like you're isolating or missing out?
That's where planning out what sessions you want to go to and what times you want to be at the conference is really helpful in advance. It's not uncommon for me to just kind of max out partway through the day, and I'll see what sessions are going on and be like, no, these weren't on my list to attend, and just either go for a walk or like get a coffee and go back to my hotel room. If it's someplace nice and they have a pool, like go for a swim. Just really take a break, but it's not uncommon for me, especially if there's activities in the evening, to say, okay, I need to hide from 2:30 to 4 and not socialize with anyone. I try to structure it so that I'm getting lots of breaks throughout my time there, so that then when I am talking to people, I can do my best to be fully present. It's hard for me though, because I'll get distracted or I'll be tired, or I'll just kind of max out.
So I think conferences are just mentally taxing in general, even if you're an extrovert, because you have to balance networking and being social with being super smart and professional on the education side. And it's just a lot. And you are actually talking about mental health at one of the upcoming conferences at Futureproof. So I wanted to give you a minute to kind of talk about what you'll be addressing and maybe why it's so important for us to pause and talk about this.
Right, yeah. So I'm going to be sitting down with Jean Edelman. She wrote the book, The Other Side of Money, Living More Balanced Life Through 52 Weekly Inspirations. And I'm super excited to talk to her and to talk about what I call the softer side of money. Because even though money affects everything that we do, I feel like financial planning tends to look at it in a very black and white. This is how much you need to save, this is how much you have, this is how much you can withdraw. But there's a lot of emotion and feelings that come with money as well. I think that carries over into the advisor space. We don't talk about how advisors can, fill their buckets and, make sure that they're doing okay. So that's something that I've been talking more about is, mental health in the advisor community. I know a lot of advisors, especially if you include like the tax planning or advisors that offer tax preparation, they're experiencing a lot of burnout right now. And it's been a really, really tough few years. So the fact that we're even bringing mental health up at a large conference, it just makes my heart happy.
If you're nervous about fall conferences and these issues matter to you too, you can catch both Courtney and I at Futureproof. You'll know that we're going through the same thing right along with you, and we'll see you out there.